Chapter 1. Dorothy lived in a small house in Kansas, with Uncle Henry, Aunt Em, and a little black dog called Toto. There were no trees and no hills in Kansas, and it was often very windy. Sometimes the wind came very fast and very suddenly. That was a cyclone, and it could blow freeze and people and buildings away. There were cellars under all the houses. And when a cyclone can't, people went down into their cellars and stayed there. One day Uncle Henry camped out and looked up at the sky. Then he ran quickly back into the house. "There's a cyclone coming," he called to Aunt Em and Dorothy. "We must go down into the cellar." They ran to the door of the cellar, but Toto was afraid, and he ran under the bed. Dorothy ran after him. "Quick!" shouted Aunt Em from the cellar. "Leave the dog and come down into the cellar." Dorothy picked up Toto and ran to the cellar door. But before she got there, the cyclone hit the house. And then a very strange thing happened. The house moved, and then it went slowly up, up, up into the sky. Aunt Em and Uncle Henry were down in the cellar under the ground, but the house, Dorothy, and Toto went up to the top of the cyclone. Dorothy looked through the open cellar door and saw hills and houses a long way down. She closed the cellar door quickly. The wind blew the house along for many hours. At first Dorothy was afraid. "But we can't do anything about it," she said to Toto. "So let's wait and see." And after 2 or 3 hours, she and Toto went to sleep. When Dorothy opened her eyes again, the house was on the ground and everything was quiet. She picked up Toto, opened the door, and went out. They saw tall trees and beautiful flowers, and little houses with blue doors. Dorothy gave a little cry. "This isn't Kansas, Toto. And who are these people?" There were 3 very short men in blue hats, coats and trousers, and a little old woman in a beautiful white dress. The woman walked up to Dorothy and said, "Thank you, thank you. Now the people are free." "Why are you thanking me?" Dorothy asked. "You killed the Witch of the East," said the woman. "She was a bad witch, and her people, the Munchkins, were very afraid of her." Chapter 2. Now she is dead, and we and the Munchkins want to thank you. The little old woman and the 3 little men all smiled happily at Dorothy, but Dorothy did not understand. "But I didn't kill anybody," she said. "Your house fell on the witch," laughed the little woman. "Look, you can see her feet." Dorothy looked and saw 2 feet, with red shoes, under the house. Suddenly, one of the Munchkins gave a shout. "Look, her feet are disappearing in the hot Sunday." A second later, there were only the red shoes. "Good," said the little woman. She picked up the shoes and gave them to Dorothy. "They're your shoes now. You must wear them, because a witch's shoes can sometimes do wonderful things." "Thank you," said Dorothy. "But who are you? Are you a Munchkin?" "No, but I'm their friend. I'm the Witch of the North, and I came to see the dead Witch of the East. But don't be afraid, I'm a good witch." "But Aunt Em says there aren't any witches." "Oh yes, there are," said the witch. "Here in the country of Oz we have 4 witches. The witches of the North and the South are good witches, but those of the East and the West are bad witches. Now the Witch of the East is dead, so there is only one bad witch. We have a famous wizard, too. We call him the Wizard of Oz, and he lives in the Emerald City." "How many witches and wizards do you have in your county?" "We don't have any," said Dorothy. Suddenly she remembered Aunt Em and Uncle Henry. "How can I get back home to Kansas?" she asked. "Where is Kansas?" asked the good witch. "I don't know a county called Kansas, so I can't tell you the way." Dorothy began to cry. "Oh dear. What can I do?" "Please don't cry," said the witch. "Go and see the Wizard of Oz. He's a good wizard, and perhaps he can help you. It's a long way, and you must walk there. I can't go with you, but I can give you my kiss." She gave Dorothy a little kiss. It looked like a small red flower on Dorothy's face. "Now nothing can hurt you," she said. "Look, there is the road to the Emerald City. It is made of yellow bricks, so you cannot lose your way. Goodbye. Goodbye, said the three little munchkins. In the house Dorothy found some bread and some apples, and she put them all in a bag. Then she put on her blue and white dress. Now I look nice, she said. She looked down at her old shoes. Then she remembered the bad witch's red shoes, and put them on. She picked up her bag of food. I coin on, Total, she called. We're going to find the Wizard of Oz. Chapter 3. Dorothy and Toto walked along the yellow brick road for a long time. When they were tired, they stopped in a field by the road. Not far away, there was a scarecrow, and Dorothy and Toto walked across to look at it. Good day, said the scarecrow. Oh, said Dorothy, you can speak. Of course I can speak, said the scarecrow, but I can't move it up here on this pole. I'd like to get down. Can you help me? Carefully, Dorothy took the scarecrow off his pole. Thank you very much, said the scarecrow. He moved his arms and legs, and straw went everywhere. Who are you? He asked. And where are you going? Dorothy, and am going to the Emerald City. I want to go home to Kansas, but I don't know the way. I'm going to ask the Wizard of Oz for help. Where is the Emerald City? Asked the scarecrow. And who is the Wizard of Oz? I don't know anything, you see, because I have no brains in my head, only straw. Oh dear, said Dorothy, "Tin very sorry." I would very much like to have some brains, the scarecrow said. Can I go to the Emerald City with you? Perhaps the Wizard of Oz can give me some brains. What do you think? I don't know, said Dorothy, but yes, please come with me. He's a famous wizard, so perhaps he can help you. She felt very sorry for the scarecrow. Don't be afraid of Toto, she said. He never hurts people. Nothing can hurt me, said the scarecrow. Tin not afraid of anything. Well, that's not true. I am afraid of fire, of course. Dorothy walked along the road with her new friend. Soon she began to feel hungry, so she sat down and she and Toto ate some bread and apples. Would you like some, Scarecrow? Said I am afraid of fire, said Dorothy. No, thank you, said the Scarecrow. I don't need to eat or drink. You can't eat when you're made of straw. Now, tell me about your home. So Dorothy told him about Kansas, and Uncle Henry and Aunt Em, and the cyclone. But why do you want to leave this beautiful country? Asked the Scarecrow. Kansas, you say, has no trees, no green hills, no gardens. I don't understand. That's because you have no brains, said Dorothy. Kansas is my home. We say, east, west, home's best, and it's true. I want to go home. They walked along the road for some hours, and then it got dark. Dorothy was tired, and soon the Scarecrow saw a little house behind some trees. There was nobody there, so they went in. Dorothy and Toto slept, but the Scarecrow just stood all night with his eyes open. Scarecrows don't sleep, he said. In the morning Dorothy looked for water. Why do you want water? Asked the Scarecrow. Toto and I are thirsty, and I need to wash. Tin sorry for you, said the Scarecrow. You need a lot of things, but you have brains, and you can think, and that's wonderful. They found some water, and Dorothy washed. Then she and Toto ate some bread. Suddenly, they heard a shout from the trees near the house, and they found some water, and they all ran out of the Dorothy washed. They saw a man by a big tree, with an axe in his hand. He was made of tin. He stood very still and shouted help, again and again. What can I do for you? Asked Dorothy. Tea can't move, said the Tin Man. Please oil me. There's an oil can in my house. At once Dorothy ran back to the house and found the oil can. Then she came back and, with the Scarecrow's help, she carefully oiled the Tin Man. Slowly, he began to move, first his head, and then his arms and legs. Thank you, he said. Tin feel better now. He put down his axe. I was there for a long time, and nobody came to help me. We stopped at your house for the night, Dorothy said, and we heard your shout this morning. Where are you going? Asked the Tin Man. So Dorothy told him about the Wizard of Oz. I want to go back to Kansas, and the Scarecrow wants some brains, she said. The Tin Man was very interested. Can the wizard give me a heart, do you think? I have no heart, so I can't love or feel. I would very much like to have a heart. Come with us, said the Scarecrow. Yes, said Dorothy. And then you can ask the wizard for help too. So they all walked along the yellow brick road. There were many tall trees next to the road, and sometimes the three friends heard noises from animals behind the trees. Dorothy did not like these noises very much. How far is it to the Emerald City? She asked the Tin Man. And we must be careful because but just then a big lion suddenly ran out from the trees into the road. It opened its mouth, it had long yellow teeth, and began to run after Toto. Dorothy was afraid for Toto. She ran up to the lion and hit it on the nose with her bag. Don't hurt my dog, she cried angrily. He's smaller than you. Didn't hurt him, said the lion. Don't hit me again, please. Why, you're afraid, said Dorothy. Be quiet, Tutu, he isn't going to hurt you. He's more afraid than you are. He's just a big coward. It's true, said the lion. I am a coward. Everyone thinks lions are brave. I make a lot of noise, but am not brave. I'm just a coward. And the cowardly lion began to cry. Then Dorothy told him about the Wizard of Oz. Come with us to the Emerald City, she said. I want to go back to Kansas. The Scarecrow wants some brains, and the Tin Man wants a heart. Perhaps the Wizard of Oz can make you brave. Oh, thank you, said the lion. I would very much like to be brave. And so the cowardly lion came with them. At first Toto was afraid of him, but very soon he and the lion were good friends. That night Dorothy and Toto slept under a big tree, next to the cowardly lion's big, warm body. In the morning they ate the last of their bread. Oh dear, said Dorothy, what are we going to eat for dinner? I can kill an animal for you, said the cowardly lion. Oh no, please don't kill anything, the Tin Man said. He began to cry. We don't want to hurt any animals. I haven't got a heart, but I feel sorry for them. Dorothy quickly got out the oil can and oiled his face. Don't cry, she said. You know water is bad for you. They walked along the yellow road, and after an hour or two they came to a big river. Oh no, said Dorothy. How can we get across? The lion looked down at the river. I'm very afraid of falling, he said, but I think I can jump across. Good, said the Scarecrow at once. You can carry us on your back, one at a time. So the cowardly lion jumped across the river, first with the Scarecrow on his back, then with Dorothy and Toto, and last with the Tin Man. But soon they came to a second river. This one was very big, and the lion could not jump across it. The Scarecrow thought for a minute. Look, he said. There's a tall tree next to the river. The Tin Man can cut it down with his axe. And when the tree falls across the river, we can walk across the tree. Very good, said the lion, for somebody with straw in their head, and not brains. So the Tin Man cut down the tree with his axe, and soon they were all across that river, too. Chapter 4. It was a long day. The yellow brick road went past fields and through trees, up hills and down hills. In the evening they began to see small green houses by the road. Sometimes little people in green clothes came out and looked at the friends. But they did not come near them, because they were afraid of the cowardly lion. Everything here is green. Perhaps we're near the Emerald City, said Dorothy. Toto and I are hungry. Let's stop at the next house. A little woman opened the door, and Dorothy said, Please, can we stay the night in your house? The little woman looked at the lion, and Dorothy said quickly, The lion is my friend, and he never hurts anybody. All right, the little woman said. You can all come in? She put a wonderful dinner on the table. Dorothy and Toto ate a lot of it, and the lion ate some of it. But the Scarecrow and the Tin Man ate nothing. Where are you all going? Asked the little woman. To the Emerald City, said Dorothy. We want to see the Wizard of Oz. That's not easy, said the woman. The wizard never goes out of his house, and nobody sees his face. Is the wizard a man? Asked the Scarecrow. Nobody knows, said the woman. He's a wizard, so he can be a man, or an animal, or anything. How strange, said Dorothy. But we need his help, so we must see him. The next day they thanked the woman, left the house, and began walking again. Soon they saw a beautiful city in front of them. It was the Emerald City at last. The friends went up the yellow brick road to a big green door, and stopped. Slowly, the door opened, and a little man in green clothes stood there. We want to see the wizard, please, said Dorothy. Nobody sees the wizard, he said. He is a very good and very famous wizard, but nobody can see him. We must see him, said Dorothy. Please ask him. All right, said the green man. I can take you to his house. But first, you must all put glasses on. He opened a big box. In it were lots of glasses. You must wear your glasses all the time, he said. Everybody in the city must wear glasses. The wizard says this. So they all put on glasses. The green man put on some glasses too, and then he took them through the Emerald City. Everything in the city was green: men, women, children, houses, shops, streets. The green man took them to a very big house, and they went into a long green room. Wait here, he said. After a short time he came back. You can see the wizard, he said, but you must go to him one by one. He wants to see the little girl first. Then he went away, and a green girl came in. She took Dorothy to a tall green door. The wizard is in there, said the green girl. He's waiting for you. Dorothy went in. On a green chair was a very, very big head. There was no body, or arms, or legs, only a head. Its mouth opened and the head said, I am Oz. Who are you, and what do you want? I am Dorothy, said the child bravely. Where did you get those red shoes? From the Bad Witch of the East, said Dorothy. My house fell on her and killed her. What is that thing on your face? A kiss. The Good Witch of the North kissed me, said Dorothy. I need help, and she told me about you. And what do you want? I want to go home to Kansas, answered Dorothy, but I don't know the way. Please help me to get home. The big eyes opened and closed, opened and closed. Then the mouth opened and the head spoke again. Well, it said, perhaps I can help you. But first, you must do something for me. What do you want me to do? Asked Dorothy. Kill the Bad Witch of the West. But I don't want to kill anybody, said Dorothy. You killed her sister, and you are wearing her shoes. Go how, and kill the Witch of the West. The little girl began to cry. But how can I kill the witch? She said. The big eyes opened and looked at her, but the head did not answer. Dorothy went away, and then her friends went into the wizard's room, first the Scarecrow, then the Tin Man, and last the lion. Later, they all met in the long green room and talked. Dorothy told her friends about the head. That's interesting, said the Scarecrow. I didn't see a head. I saw a beautiful woman. I asked her for some brains and she said, yes, but first you must help Dorothy to kill the Witch of the West. I saw a big animal with 2 heads, said the Tin Man. I asked for a heart. The animal said, I can give you a heart, but first you must help Dorothy to kill the Witch of the West. What did you see, lion? I saw a ball of fire, said the cowardly lion. I said, I'm a coward. Please make me brave. And the fire said, when the Witch of the West is dead, I can help you, but not before. I was angry then, said the lion, but the ball of fire got bigger and bigger, so I ran away. "Oh, what are we going to do?" said Dorothy. "Well," said the Scarecrow, "we must find the Witch of the West, and then we must kill her." Chapter 5. The next morning they left the Emerald City. The Green Man took away their glasses and told them the way to the witch's house. "Everybody is afraid of the Witch of the West," he said. "So be careful." The friends walked for a long time. The road was bad, and there were no houses, no fields, no trees. Now the Witch of the West had a magic eye, and it could see everything. She saw the friends on the road, and she was angry. She put on her tall black hat and shouted, "Magic monkeys, come." In a second 40 monkeys arrived at her tall house. "What do you want?" they asked. "There are 3 people, a dog, and a lion on my road," she said. "Kill the people and the dog, but bring the lion here to my house." "He can work for me at once," said the monkeys. And away they went. They broke the Tin Man's arms and legs. They took all the straw out of the Scarecrow and threw his clothes up into a tall tree. Then they took the lion and carried him to a dark cellar under the witch's house. But they could not hurt Dorothy and Toto because of the good witch's kiss. So the monkeys picked them up very carefully and carried them to the witch's house. The witch saw the kiss on Dorothy's face and was afraid. But she did not tell Dorothy that. "You must work for me in my house now," she said to the child. "All day and every day, and remember I am watching you all the time." Now Dorothy did not know this, but the red shoes were magic. The witch wanted those shoes very much, but Dorothy never took them off. She took them off when she washed, of course, but the witch never went near water. She was very, very afraid of water. Then, one morning, Dorothy's left shoe fell off. The witch picked up the shoe at once. "This is my shoe now," she shouted. "No, it isn't," shouted Dorothy angrily. "Give it back, Tom, at once." "No," said the witch, and then she tried to take Dorothy's right shoe too. Dorothy loved her red shoes, and she was very angry. There was a bucket of water near the door. Dorothy picked up the bucket and threw the water at the witch. The water hit her in the face, and she cried out, "Help! Help! The water is killing me! The water is," and then she disappeared. There was only her tall black hat and a long black dress. Dorothy looked and looked, but the witch was not there. Dorothy picked up her red shoe and put it on. "Now, how can I help my friends?" she said. "Can I call the magic monkeys?" She picked up the witch's black hat and looked at it. "Perhaps I must wear this magic hat when I speak." So she put the hat on and called, "Magic monkeys, come." The monkeys arrived in a second. "Please, can you help my friends?" asked Dorothy. "Of course," said the monkeys. "We must always help the wearer of the magic black hat." They broke open the dark cellar, and the cowardly lion came out. "Free at last," he said. "Thank you," and jumped. "Thank you," he said. Then the monkeys found the Scarecrow's clothes and put some new straw in them. The Scarecrow laughed. Next, the monkeys mended the Tin Man and gave him a new oil can. He moved his arms and legs. "I feel wonderful," he said. "Thank you." Dorothy told her friends about the witch and the water, and they were all very happy. Toto could not speak, but he jumped up and down very happily. "Now," said Dorothy, "we must go back to the Wizard of Oz. Magic monkeys, take us to the Emerald City. Don't forget the magic black hat," said the Tin Man. The monkeys carried them up into the sky, and 10 minutes later the friends were once again at the big green door of the Emerald City. Chapter 6. The little green man opened the door. He gave them all glasses, then he took them through the city to the wizard's house. There, in the long green room, the friends waited and waited and waited. After 3 hours the Scarecrow said, "I'm tired of waiting." He called the green man. We want to see the wizard now. Or we're going to call the magic monkeys. Please tell the wizard that. The green man went away to speak to the wizard. Puff the door. The wizard knew about the magic monkeys, and he was very afraid of them. So he said to the green man, "These people can come and see me at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning." At 9 o'clock the green man took the friends to the wizard's room. They went in and looked all round, but they could not see anybody. Then a voice said, "I am the Wizard of Oz. Who are you, and what do you want?" "Where are you?" asked Dorothy. "I am everywhere, but you can't see me. Now answer me, who are you, and what do you want?" "You know us all," said the Scarecrow. "You said to me, 'Help Dorothy to kill the Witch of the West, and you can have some brains.' Well, the witch is dead, and now I want my brains. And I want my heart," said the Tin Man. "And I want to be brave," said the Cowardly Lion. "And I want to go home to Kansas," said Dorothy. "Is the witch truly dead?" asked the voice. "Yes," said Dorothy. "I threw a bucket of water over her, and she disappeared." "Very well," said the voice. "Come again tomorrow." "I must think about things first and no," said the Tin Man. "I want my heart now." "I am not going to wait another minute," said the Scarecrow. "And am going to eat you," the lion shouted very angrily. Toto was afraid. He jumped away from the lion and hit a screen near the wall. The screen fell over, and behind it the friends saw an old man with no hair. The Tin Man looked angry and picked up his axe. "Who are you?" he said. "Please don't hurt me," said the old man, in a quiet little voice. "I'm the Wizard of Oz." "But the Wizard of Oz is a big head without a body," said Dorothy. "No, he's a beautiful woman," said the Scarecrow. "You're wrong," said the Tin Man. "The Wizard of Oz is a big animal with 2 heads. He have tricks, but I don't know any true magic. You see, am I from Kansas too? I went from town to town and did magic tricks. And I went up in a big balloon. The balloon was always on a rope, but one day something went wrong. The rope broke and the balloon blew away. For a long time, the wind carried my balloon across the sky. Then I came down here, in the country of Oz. The people saw my balloon and said, 'This man is a wizard. He comes out of the sky.' They were afraid of me and wanted to work for me. So they built this city for me, and I called it the Emerald City. Well, emeralds are green, so I made green glasses for everybody. That's why everything in the city looks green." The Scarecrow took off his glasses. "Oh," he said. "Mo, I understand. The Emerald City isn't green. It just seems green. It's all a trick." "That's right," said the old man. "Well, all that happened many years ago. I never went out because I was afraid of the 2 bad witches. Now they are dead thanks to you, Dorothy. But I'm very sorry, I don't know true magic, so I can't help you." "You're a very bad man," said Dorothy. "No, my child, I'm a very good man, but I am a very bad wizard, that's true." "What about my brains?" said the Scarecrow. "I need brains. You understand things, you learn quickly." "You're very clever," said the Scarecrow. "Very well," said the old man. "I can give you some brains tomorrow morning." "What about my heart?" asked the Tin Man. "You don't need a heart," said the old man. "You laugh, you cry, you love, you feel sorry for people." The Tin Man looked angry and picked up his axe. "All right, please don't hurt me," said the old man. "I can give you a heart tomorrow morning." "I want to be brave," said the Cowardly Lion. "But you are brave. You do a lot of brave things." No, don't eat me. Come here tomorrow morning. I'm going to make you brave." "What about Toto and me?" asked Dorothy. "We can go up in my balloon," said the wizard. "The wind blew us here from Kansas, perhaps it can blow us back to Kansas again." The next morning the friends came again to the wizard's room. The old man was ready. He took a bottle with brains on it in big green letters, and carefully opened the scarecrow's head. "Don't move. I am putting your brains in," he said. "There now, you're the cleverest scarecrow in Oz." The scarecrow thanked him. Next the wizard gave the Tin Man a small red heart. "Wear this always," he said. The Tin Man was very happy and thanked the wizard again and again. Then the old man took a bottle with "Be brave" on it. "Drink this," he said to the cowardly lion. The lion drank. "Yes, yes, I feel brave," he shouted. "Very, very brave. Thank you." The wizard smiled at them. "You didn't need my magic," he said. "But you're all happy now, and that's a good thing. Now, Dorothy," he said, "come and see my balloon. It's all ready. I mended it last night." They went out into the garden behind the wizard's house. The balloon was very big. There was a small box under it, and the Wizard of Oz jumped into the box. "Come on, Dorothy," he shouted. "We're going to Kansas. Say goodbye to your friends." Dorothy kissed the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man, and said goodbye. "Come on, Toto," she said, "we're going home to Kansas. We're going to see Aunt Em and Uncle Henry." But just then Toto saw a cat. He jumped out of Dorothy's arms and ran after it. "Toto," called Dorothy, and she began to run after him. Chapter 7. "Leave the dog and come quickly," shouted the wizard. "The rope's going to break." Dorothy picked Toto up and ran. "Wait," she shouted. But before she got there, the rope did break, and the balloon went up, up, up into the sky. They heard the old man's voice, very far away. "Ask the Witch of the South." Then the balloon disappeared, and nobody saw the Wizard of Oz again. Dorothy began to cry. "Oh, how can I get home now?" "Put on the magic black hat," said the Scarecrow, "and ask the magic monkeys for help. Perhaps they can find the Witch of the South and bring her here." "Clever Scarecrow," said Dorothy. She put on the magic hat and called for the magic monkeys. When they arrived, she said, "Please find the Witch of the South and bring her here to the Emerald City." And 5 minutes latex, a beautiful woman with long red hair arrived. "I am Glinda, the Witch of the South," she said. "What can I do for you, my child?" "I want to go home to Kansas," said Dorothy. "Please, can you help me?" "Ask your shoes," smiled the good witch. But Dorothy did not understand. "Your red shoes," said Glinda, "are magic shoes. They can carry you home. Just close your eyes and say, 'East, West, home's best.' Then jump." "Oh, thank you," cried Dorothy happily. She kissed her friends and said goodbye again. Then she picked up Toto and closed her eyes. "East, West, home's best," she said, and jumped. There was a noise like a wind, and suddenly Dorothy was in the sky. The red shoes fell off her feet, and she never saw them again. When she opened her eyes, there she was back in Kansas. And there were Aunt Em and Uncle Henry in a field by a new little house. "Dorothy," cried Aunt Em. She ran and took Dorothy in her arms. "Oh, Dorothy, what happened to you? And where did you come from?" "From the country of Oz," said Dorothy. "But I'm home again now, and I'm so happy."